Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time here. The question I wanted to answer today is, how do I do a gut cleanse? I was actually asked this question for the first time ages ago, and I put it to one side into my content schedule. I've just been away on a week-long holiday in Greece, and if you followed my social media, you might know why I will have actually needed to follow my own advice on gut cleanses. And it seems a little bit, I'm going to say, pertinent, perhaps actually a divine intervention, that I come back to London, back to the UK, and my content schedule gives me this week as the one to share about gut cleanses. I really needed to gut cleanse when I came back from Greece, and I'm going to share with you why they are so effective for me and how I do them, and if you're interested, if it works for you, how I would recommend you kind of go about it. So a little bit of a background to fasting from my experience personally. I first got into fasting 6 years ago. As part of a gut healing program, which I've talked about in other videos before. I do this alongside a functional medicine practitioner. It's this person who I go to for my guidance, but I also have done my own research. I've gone to the people that he learns from, because it's something I'm fascinated about, and it's been super effective for me in my gut healing journey. And I went to see my endocrinologist earlier in the year, and what's amazing is that anything I've done towards my gut is now being reflected in my MEN1 results. So I was so excited to be able to share about this with you. What I understand of fasting, so there are kind of 3 reasons why it's so effective. The gut can actually only heal and repair itself when it's empty. And in this modern day, the average person does not spend many hours with their gut empty. This is because, in comparison to our Paleolithic and Neanderthal ancestors, who literally could only eat when food was available, which sometimes wasn't every day or even every week, and definitely only when the sun was up, we are now eating all the time because we have fridges, we have artificial light, and eating has become more of a social experience. So it means that our fasting periods overnight generally are a lot shorter than they used to be. And it is commonly thought that fasting, or a lack of fasting, and eating too often has a really detrimental effect upon our health. I am going through my gut healing journey. Fasting has been absolutely influential for me in terms of keeping my gut empty for as long as possible, and for as long as is safe, in order that my gut can heal. What happens is that when the gut is empty, the digestive system and the digestive enzymes can slow down, and blood can stop flowing to that area, and then it gives a little signal to the immune system to kickstart. What's interesting is that you will already fast. So anyone who says, oh, I don't fast, not true. Everyone fasts. We all fast overnight. That's why it's called break fast. And it's so effective for me to be able to leave my gut empty, as I say, because keeping my immune system in like its kind of tip-top shape is massively important in terms of giving my body the best chance to manage what's going on with MEN1. So that's kind of a really direct link between gut health and MEN1. There are different types of fasting. Definitely not all fasting is the same. If it's not done well, it can be quite harmful. I've known people to become extreme with it, become a little bit silly with it, and that's almost more dangerous, in fact, possibly more dangerous than not doing it at all. but when it's done well and under guidance, generally professional guidance, and you do your research and you know your stuff, then it's a massively effective tool. And for basically best part of 5 years, I was fasting the same every single day, on what's called 16-8. So for 8, I would eat only for an 8-hour window during the day, and then I would leave my gut empty for 16 hours. And that's something my functional medicine practitioner recommended me. And then I became really interested in my reproductive health, my female hormones, and I went searching for more information on fasting that was related to women, found the most incredible practitioner. And by the way, I will link all these people below so you can check them out yourself. And she recommended that it's better for women to fast in line with their menstrual cycle. So I won't go into too much detail now because it's too much for this video. But I now do different types of fasting every month. And I found that to be one of the most empowering decisions I've ever made in the kind of latter part of my health journey so far. I face a lot of skepticism in fasting from friends, from family, and from onlookers, and I've had to learn to really sit with that and know that whatever anyone else thinks of me or anything that I do is something that's going on with them and not with me. And as long as I stay rooted in my why I'm doing it, the commitment I have to my health, then my foundations are pretty unshakable. And I have to say, fasting is one of these things where many times I've questioned it in my head, but in my heart and in my gut, quite literally, I know it's absolutely amazing. I am actually gonna now send you off to other people to listen to them talk about it, because they know the science, they've done the research, they've got the evidence, and I'm going to suggest that you take what works and that you leave what doesn't. And always with any of my videos, anything you see on my platform, you must, and actually this goes for anything you see anywhere that doesn't come from a medical professional, always run it past someone. I would recommend your endocrinologist, but if it's only your GP or someone else on your healthcare team, that's okay. But it's really important that your endocrinologist is aware of everything that you're doing, because any change that you make in your health will eventually show up somewhere in a reading, because that's the way the body works. Everything is connected. And it also just helps to have, their support. And I'm going to hazard a guess and say I think most healthcare professionals would be delighted to know that their patients were interested in fasting. And I would add a caveat, which is that if you are an MEN1 patient and you have, for any reason, you're managing diabetes as well, there'll be added complications. So make sure that you really are referring backwards and forwards with your endocrinologist. But fasting has been known to heal diabetes, type 1 and type 2. A little bit harder if you don't have any of your pancreas left, but not impossible, because some people have been known to actually grow parts of their pancreas back. And what was the other thing I was going to say? I have forgotten. I would just say if your blood sugars are a little bit funny, or if you're aware that you have active lesions on your pancreas, that's another reason to, even more of a reason just to make sure that everything is completely set up in terms of having support from your endocrinologist. Okay, so that is everything I wanted to share with you about fasting. I hope it's been interesting. It's, I think, the first video I've done. I'm sure I'll end up going into more detail. But I hope you can see why it's so important. and that you found some part of this like jumps out at you and that you want to kind of like take a thread and run with it, you are welcome always to leave me comments below. You are welcome to ask me questions. You're welcome to reach out. Do hit subscribe if you don't already subscribe and you're on YouTube. And if you're not part of my close email community, I would highly suggest that you get in there, because that is really where I can share the kind of juicy details of what's going on with my journey. You just need to go down into the description box, where I will also link any of the names I've mentioned today, pop your email address in, and that will allow me to then converse with you as part of a close community of MEN1 patients. And I'm super excited to see you there. Okay, gut cleanses and fasting over and out.